We will stop with this sarga, but I want to tell a little bit about what do we learn from this. Just as we said, Uddaret Atmana Atmanam, Atmanam Avasade for the Mantra episode. Now, looking at what this Dasharatha went through, I was wondering, what is it that we have to learn? Little bit you discussed, but what is it that we learn from this whole episode and all that? So I remembered of two beautiful shlokas. One shloka in Bhagavad Gita, which aptly says that this is the expression of what will happen if that shloka is not understood properly. See, in 18th chapter, there is these different types of Rajas, Tamas, and Karta. So in that, Sukha, Dhriti, all those are there. So this is about Sukham. So Krishna beautifully gives a shloka here. He says, Vishayendriya Samyogat Yat Agre, Amrutopamam Pariname Vishamiva Tatsukam Rajasam Smritam. Actually, what Dasharatha went through is Rajasa Sukha. He himself said that. Krishna, these two shlokas are beautiful. He says, Arambe Vishamiva Pariname Amritam is Atma Buddhi Buddhijam, that is called Satvika Sukha. Whereas Raja Sukha initially is very good. He was there, he was so attracted by Kaikeyi and she led her into Visham finally. That is what has happened. That is the lesson here. You say Rajasa Sukha, we have to be very, very, very careful. Because at the face of it, it will be very interesting. It will be very compelling. This is like, gobbling, sweet after sweet because you like it. Then you land up with a much deeper trouble. Much deeper trouble of a much higher order. Lot of Rajasa Sukha is like that. Pariname Vishamiva. Tatsukam Rajasam Smritam. Actually, if you ask, can you give me a very detailed explanation of what is a Rajasa Sukha? I will say, go and read Sargas, Ayodhya Kanda, Sargas 9 to 14. Really telling you. It is really showing bit by bit how the realization comes when the damage is already done. So what Dasharatha is also telling us through this episode, or Valmiki is telling us through this episode, is there is something called Rajasa Sukha. So Krishna is not casually discussing anything in Gita. Everything has a very deeper thing behind it. That Rajasa Sukha has fully played out in. That's why he said, I ignored Kaushalya right through. Why did he? Because Vishendra Sanyogat. He got completely deluded because of Vishendriya Sukha, Dasharatha, which costed him so dearly, which took his life also. That is the very most important message we must infer and connect to this episode. I also remembered of Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad also, it is all so nicely written. I will just take two shlokas just to connect it to this. Because in the first chapter of Kathopanishad, first Valli, Kathopanishad 2 chapters, 3 Vallis, 6 Vallis totally. But in the first Valli of first chapter of Kathopanishad, as many of you know, it is actually the son seeing this father. Yes, Gata Yusha, Dugdodaka, those kinds of descriptions. Cows which are of no use. They cannot bear anymore, they cannot secrete any milk, and he is giving dana. Very carefully he is culling out useless things and giving dana. This is what a lot of people today, people have not understood the value of dhanam in this country. You should read Taitropanishad Sikshavalli for that. Today, when things of now with a little bit of awareness, right, because for some of these great things that are happening, these kind of disasters, tons and tons of useless things are being sent. Like this father giving useless cows as dana, torn pieces, old pieces, things which are the verge of Jirna. Bedsheet is given with great large heart for people of Kerala. You should never do that. Dana is a great opportunity, as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, as Vivekananda says, it's Daridra Narayana. You gave me an opportunity to help someone. If you can give one bedsheet, stop there. Buy a new bedsheet and give. And make sure it reaches. That's a problem which we can also solve in some other ways. So, in the first Valli, Nachiketas is very annoyed by his father's behavior. Then he asks, whom am I going to give me? Again and again he keeps asking. The father got so irritated. He said, I'll give you to Yama. So the son says his whole ishti, is a kameshti. Safalata must happen. Therefore, he goes to Yamapatna. And he waits there for 3 days. The Yama comes back and then he is so praiseful of this boy. 3 days you are without food and all that. You are Brahmin. So I want to give you 3 boons, something like that. He says, ask me the 3 boons. So he asks 3 boons, for which the reply starts in the second valli. This is the first 2 slokas I want to take. A nice sloka, but we can go. I just quickly put this sloka and stop there. He says, Anyachreyo anyadutaiva preyaste ube nanarte purusham sinitah tayo shreyaha adadanasya sadhu bhavati hiyate arthadya upreyo vrinite. So he says, Anyaha shreyaha anyatyeva preyaha. So there is something called shreyas, there is something called preyas. First Yama says, there is something called shreyas, there is something called preyas. Anyat shreyaha, anyadeva preyaha. Te. Ube nanarte purusham sinitaha. Much depends on what you pursue, you are bound into it and you are led in that path. That's the first line. Second line says, Tayoho, between the two. Tayoho is dvivachanam, no? Between the two, among the two, right? 7th vibhakti, among the two, Shreyaha adadanasya sadhu bhavati. One who pursued the path of Shreyas, it's good for him. Okay? Hiyate arthat ya u preyo vrinite. That person which goes after prayers will get some material benefits. So there is something called good and there is something called pleasure. Pleasure and good are not the same. Good is different from pleasure. Sometimes a good can be pleasurable. But there is nothing like good is pleasure or pleasure is good. Pleasure can be bad. Good can be not necessarily a pleasurable thing. That's what the prayas and the shreyas. One more shloka I will take. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametaha tam samparitye vivinakti dhiraha. Shreyo hi dhiraha abhipreyaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemat vrinite. So Yama says, the shreyascha preyascha manushyametaha. Both are available for every human being. They can go for prayers or shreyas. Tau, between that, samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. The dhira is one who examines and brings a high degree of discrimination before he decides whether I want prayers or whether I want shreyas. That dhira is able to do it. Shreya hi dhiraha abhi preyaso vrinite. So, Shreya hi dhiraha abhi. So, dhira goes after shreyas. Whereas preyasaha vrinite, preyo mando yogakshemat vrinite. So people who want comfort in living, I want more money, I want name, fame, I want indriya sukha, vishayendriya sukha, comfort, one farmhouse, one, maybe 2 more cars, 4 more refrigerators, 4 more floors of house. If you are into that domain, Yama says generally people go after prayers. Whereas a very discriminating person knows that he should go after shreyas. But all these are badly understood. That doesn't mean a person who wants shreyas will be a beggar, loitering on the road. It only means he trini karoti. When Lakshmi and Sukha comes, he will take it. It goes tomorrow, he doesn't even blink his eye. That is the meaning. People misunderstand all these shlokas. They think, oh, is it this or that? Therefore, if I have to take shreyas, I have to willfully make me a beggar out of myself. I have to throw everything. These are all wrong understanding of our Upanishads. It only says, Trini Bhava Avashyaka. Enjoy if something comes, understand God has given it to you, enjoy it. If it goes tomorrow morning, life as usual. That Manobhava is Shreyas. A person who goes on the path of Shreyas will do that. That is the meaning of this. It is not this or that means you do this or do that. That means, you have to create misery for you artificially and then create problems for you and your extended family. It never meant any of those. It said what kind of an attitude of life with which you actually traveled in this world when things came to you and it went out of you. It can be power, it can be position, it can be money, it can be bandhu, it can be mitra bandhavaha. That frame of mind is what is required for a shreyas. Okay, we'll stop here. I just wanted, I think